Bonsoir tout le monde. Bienvenue dans notre webinaire sur l'intelligence artificielle pour le commerce international. Je vais vous présenter l'intervenant. Donc, I would like to introduce James Menzies, who is from the University of the Sunshine Coast in Australia. So in Australia, it's I think 2 a.m. in the morning. So thank you very much, Jane, for doing the effort to participate into this presentation. I would just make a quick introduction. We found out about Jane's research about about artificial intelligence for international trade through a recent paper that she published with some of her colleagues. And I think she will refer to this she refers to this in the slide that you are seeing. And we thought it was interesting it's a recollection of all initiatives and all potentialities of the artificial intelligence for international trade. So we thought it would be a good introduction to this theme in a way to, screen all capabilities of AI for international trade. We might in the future zoom in specific topics, but we're very happy to start this theme with Jane. Jane, I will leave you the floor. We'll go for your presentation, something like 30-40 minutes, and then we'll take some questions from the floor. In the meantime, I would ask everybody to set their mics on mute. You can post your questions as they come into your mind on the chat in the Teams interface, and I will take them and I will moderate them after the presentation from Jane. Jane, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Etienne. Okay, so as introduced, my name is Dr. Jane Menzies and I'm a senior lecturer in international business at the University of the Sunshine Coast. And I've been a professor of international business pretty much for my whole career, which was previously at Deakin University in Melbourne, Australia. So I've always taught international business. Obviously, over the last 2 years, we've all been very interested in this artificial intelligence. Obviously, when there was a call for papers last year, which was on, how can we, let's do some research on artificial intelligence, which actually resulted in the paper that we wrote at the end of last year and had published at the start of this year. So this paper is actually open access as well, and so you can read it freely whenever you'd like to read it as well. So hopefully it should be helpful to you. But really, we're just looking at this integration of artificial intelligence in all of the different aspects of international business. And what I wanted to do today was really just provide you some insights and perhaps even some practical applications. So I think that, having this kind of IB type of paper, I actually invited a colleague who was a technology expert, and actually Bianca, who's the second author. Unfortunately, she couldn't come today because of the 2 a.m. start time. But yeah, she actually is an IT expert. So I really think that, even from a practical point of view, that we really need to have IT experts assisting us with creating applications and software that might, help us with, like implementing AI into our businesses. Obviously, there's a lot of tools and things that are available to us freely that, we can have as, small to medium enterprises that we can use to help us, be an international business and use artificial intelligence, which is really good. But I would be thinking that for our more, medium-sized organisations and our larger-size organisations, that we're creating solutions, software solutions that are integrating artificial intelligence that will help us do our day-to-day activities. Okay, so I guess, and interestingly, I used a tool myself to create this presentation. So I already had this paper, which is probably about 8,000 to 10,000 words, and I was actually able to use Gamma, so you can go and look at Gamma yourself, and use Gamma to actually create this presentation, which probably took about I don't know, 10 minutes over me creating the presentation, which might have taken me a whole day to do. I guess the thing with AI, we still have to edit it, and we still have to, like check it, because it might not always be correct. Even when I looked through this presentation, there were some things that I was like, oh, no. So, okay, so what really is AI? And, and I guess we've been talking about AI since the 1950s. It's really just the science and engineering of making intelligent machines. So making machines or computers that can conduct operations like human beings, thus mimicking human intellect. And we've been talking really about artificial intelligence for a long time when we've been talking about things such as robots. We've been talking about robots in the 1980s, the 1990s, and so on. However, I guess, there's been this proliferation of what we've been discussing in the last 2 years at least. So really, we're just looking at, other definitions. Perhaps we're looking at a machine-based system that can give us a set of human-defined objectives. We can make predictions. We can make recommendations. We can even also make decisions that influence real or virtual environments. So here we're really just looking at, and we all know about generative AI. So obviously there's a lot of practical applications. So whether and again, we've been using smart assistants for many years. You might have had Google Home in your house, or you might have had things like Alexa, or you might be using Google Translate. I was literally just using Google Translate before, just to, how do I say good evening in French? Bonsoir. So those types of things. So, whether it be transcription, whether it be self-driving cars, whether it be, using artificial intelligence for medical diagnosis. Doctors can now diagnose medical conditions or cancer through the use of artificial intelligence. In fact, there's even, talk of using AI to assist with IVF technology. So, how do we pick the better embryo, which leads to better successful outcomes? And AI has this capability to, do that better than what a human being does. So obviously, we've got a lot of capabilities, but we're really just at that start of doing that. Okay, so how might we think about this in international business, and what are the types of things? And I guess I wanted to preface my paper as well, or the paper that we wrote. In actual fact, there wasn't a lot of actual academic research out there. There was research in the kind of different fields. So for instance, if I say international marketing or international entry modes, there was a little bit, but there wasn't a lot. So I guess this paper was very interesting because we were able to look at, what was out there. So really, what is it about? What is it going to do for our international business? Obviously, it's going to enhance our productivity and our competitiveness. So really, if I think about my day-to-day roles, I'm using AI in my day-to-day role. So just say I want to create an email that I want to send to someone or send to a bunch of students. I'm a professor. I might, rather than spending 20 minutes or 30 minutes creating that email, perhaps I might just jump onto AI and get that to create it for me. So obviously that's and that's created that for me in 2 minutes as opposed to our 20 or 30 minutes. And as I said, with this presentation, using Gamma assisted me in doing this very quickly. So obviously there's a lot more productivity. We can also help navigate our global environments by advanced predictive analytics, our task automation, and also leveraging data-driven insights. So I guess that's, a part of this artificial intelligence, that we need to have a lot of like in-depth data. We need to have information, and perhaps that could be, one of the different types of limitations that perhaps some of the generative artificial intelligence has at the moment. So, so obviously, we're also in a better position to predict our market demands, look at risks, optimize our supply chain management, streamline logistics, and enhance cross-border transactions. So obviously, we've been talking about, how can we make our supply chains more efficient using technology? And we've been talking about this for the last 15 or 20 years anyway, whether it be through blockchain or whether it be through electronic data interchange, whether it be through a range of other technologies. But now, again, we can start using AI in a more in-depth perspective. Another point is that, AI can also, and things like advanced robotics can also assist us with backshoring. So we've been talking about, for many years, 20 or 30 years, that, let's internationalize to countries where it's cheaper for us to produce. However, if we've now got robots doing activities for us, or we've got automated systems for production or better automation, then perhaps we can then also start to look at, well, maybe we don't need to be in foreign countries, then we can reduce the transaction costs associated with being in a foreign country of production, and instead be producing in our home country. So that could be an interesting thing for you to think about in your own businesses. The point below, which is just really about enhancing cross-cultural and linguistic communication and negotiation, that will be a really interesting one. So in fact, I have a couple of students who are currently looking at how AI can be used to better manage our cross-cultural differences as well. So how do we use perhaps maybe AI assistants to assist us in how we deal with other people from foreign cultures. So that's going to be, I guess, an interesting thing for the future. So what else? There's research that's just showing that it's predicted that there'll be $13 trillion worth of increased global economic activity by 2030 as a result of AI use, according to a McKinsey report. And as I said previously, will help reduce the costs for international business, as it's helping us to reduce the costs generally in day-to-day business. So where are we up to? We're really, we've got a lot of mainstream adoption, we've got proliferation, you might want to think about how are you actually using AI today? And really this increased with this open accessibility of OpenAI's ChatGPT, Microsoft's Copilot, Google Gemini, which was called Bard, Claude and Perplexity. So there's a whole range of, our generative AI technologies that we can use to assist us in our day-to-day activities. Okay, so obviously there's quite a lot of interesting stuff going on at a governmental level as well, because, perhaps we've got governments who are thinking, well, now I'm increasing my regulations around how we might use AI. There's a whole range of discussion, and I deal with this in the paper about how, can we share our data that's, the backbone of artificial intelligence. So obviously for artificial intelligence to work, we need to have pre-existing data and information in there. So there's a lot of talk about whether, governments are sharing that information or allowing that information to be shared. So that can either be, an opportunity or even a constraint. And there's even discussions around AI's use at governmental levels at international trade negotiations. And so it's said that we have, we could have software tools that might assist us in making, offers of trade negotiations and predicting what perhaps a foreign country might offer us in response. So that's another interesting level of it. So obviously we've got a lot of mainstream curiosity, we've got plenty of different types of, webinars such as this one, other webinars on content creation, Canva, all of those types of things, about this, how might AI impact our work and our business landscape. But as I argued in this paper, there's a lot of knowledge gap around, what is these different applications, how might it affect the IB strategies, practices and activities. So do read the paper. I think it's interesting. So I wanted to pull out some kind of key areas where we might think about how AI can assist us. And so interestingly, one area might be international market selection. And one thing that I was thinking about here was, of course, we can use generative AI. So we can use all of our tools to help create business plans. So as an international business professor, I'm often teaching how you might use how you might do international market selection. You might create reports. So it might help us in monitoring trends and opportunities. It might help us with international opportunity recognition. AI data or enabled data analytics might also provide us with insights and tools and recommendations on current market trends and future states. So it also might allow us to create comprehensive business plans for market entry, including cultural and psychic distances between countries, investigating suppliers, doing market research, and finding out about customers and cultures. So what I've done for each of my areas is just provided you with some kind of tools that, you might be able to use. So for instance, you could use Bing Copilot it's now called Microsoft Copilot, or OpenAI ChatGPT or Google Gemini as, a way for you to create plans. And so if I just quickly go on to Bing, and look, this is very basic, I think that even I was sort of looking at it going, maybe later on, hopefully I could get together with some IT people to help develop a software maybe that, does this. But, I can sit in Microsoft Bing and I can create things like, I'm a French cheese exporter, please create me an export plan for Vietnam as an example. And then I might want to keep on asking it, other questions. Do Vietnamese people eat cheese? Because traditionally Asian cultures don't eat cheese. And then, I might, ask, what about some retail outlets? And here we can see that they've made a bit of a mistake because they've suggested an Adidas store outlet. So that's why we always need a human. Are there cultural differences between France and Japan? So again, this is just giving me some suggestions on how culturally I might deal with people in Vietnam if I'm a French exporter, and so on and so on. So, I definitely think, this is still reasonably basic, but, it can give you some insights and tips that, might be helpful for you. The other thing that we investigated in our paper is the use of foreign exchange. Obviously, foreign exchange is a very important thing in international business because, we are currently constantly impacted by the value of currency at any point of time. So again, there's quite a lot of application, and there were quite a lot of articles on this as well, that how currency trends and predictions can be made using AI trained systems as well. So here there was an example here of the Nikkei, claimed that they used an AI trained system on Nikkei data from articles, long-term dollar-yen trends, commodity prices, and other market indicators that have the potential to predict future currency trends. So we might help, or we might see that in the future that currency trends, are better predicted, helping us to make better decisions around currency, when to buy and sell, when to export, when to import, and those types of things. So that should be interesting. Again, I've just found a number of different foreign exchange tools, or basically simply trading tools. So some of you might already use these different trading tools, but we've got things like TradingView, NinjaTrader, MT4, and so on, which are all different Forex trading softwares, but use AI within them to help create trade indicators. So some of you might already be using them. again, usually the paid versions of these are better for getting the trend data and getting the AI data in there. Okay, so that was international currency. So other types of applications might be in our international human resource management. So perhaps when we're looking to recruit people, when we're looking to train and develop them, even for compensation and benefits and better productivity at work. So for instance, we have different tools or AI tools that can enhance the efficiency and the effectiveness of the recruitment process, helping to better select and to better assess candidates, according to your selection criteria. We put other examples in our paper around how AI can actually scrape data from social media platforms such as LinkedIn to ensure that high-profile candidates who might not actively be looking for jobs can be presented with pop-ups or banners showcasing the job opportunity. So, that perhaps helps with headhunters' jobs. We also have examples, and perhaps you might have applied for a job in the last, couple of years, or last year, 2 years. You might be filling out a job application, and the job application actually asks you to submit your LinkedIn profile or your CV, and then the AI completes the profile information for you in the job application. The other application might be chatbots can answer questions about the recruitment process, company information, start date, appropriate attire for the interview, and so on. So again, that's just, reducing the amount of time that an employee might need to spend on answering questions of prospective candidates. Okay, so what about training and development? We can also use AI algorithms to assess and identify the skills needed by existing employees and guiding the development of training programs. So there's also talk about, so I met a recent AI technologist who was talking about how his company actually creates systems to better attract employees, but also to look at retention. So obviously retention can sometimes be an issue for organizations, and therefore, perhaps having, like an AI tool that better predicts whether an employee might leave at a future time might help in keeping that person. So if the AI technology can predict who you might be able to leave, you might design, kind of retention strategies for people that you want to keep. Okay, so compensation and benefits, we can perhaps help in determining better compensation levels with fewer biases and supporting more equitable IHRM practices. And I just also added this one in at the bottom. We can have better productivity at work. So things like Microsoft Cordana or Siri virtual assistants can help people at work. So you may or may not know, but we can actually have virtual assistants that, can help create emails for us or can help do our calendars and those types of things. So obviously these are all about, increasing our productivity and, reducing the time that we have to spend on those types of activities. So again, I've just provided some practical examples of HR recruitment software or websites that use artificial intelligence to help with things like, like recruitment. So Manital is one, using customizable featured AI-powered candidate matching and so on. So Breezy HR and Job Adder. So again, I'm not paid by any of these companies. I'm just making a recommendation. It's up to you for you to check out different types of softwares. There's actually plenty of others. So again, simply if you get onto your generative AI, and ask it, what are some examples of HRM software that can help or that's using artificial intelligence, again, that will tell you. So that's another, interesting aspect of it. So the last area that I wanted to talk about was how it might be used in international marketing. And I guess this is probably, one of the really important ones because, this is something that we often do and that costs us money, especially as exporters or, international business people. So what is it? Obviously, we can have virtual assistants or chatbots, and they can actually help us, perhaps in providing better support in foreign countries, answering our questions or customer inquiries, facilitating better interactions across language barriers as well. In terms of personalisation, there's also a big thing around using AI algorithms to analyse our customer data. So that's, and then, based on what customers might be looking at, the AI algorithm may then suggest, at a later point in time, what types of products that these people might be interested in. It's a bit like, I don't know if you have Facebook at all, but, you've got Facebook and you might mention a company and the Facebook is listening to you. So at a later point in time, it might pop up on your Facebook, this company that you've talked about or a product that you've talked about. So it's all about kind of, giving highly personalised product recommendations and content and experience and giving unique preferences to the needs of customers in our global environments. And I guess this also relates to our more targeting advertising. So using predictive capabilities to have more specific targeting to different, customers in different international markets. So one of the other interesting aspect of it is the use of machine translation to facilitate better communication by enabling the seamless translation of documents or information or even visual content, into foreign languages. And I've actually got it on another slide coming up, but it was interesting that, and it's like right up here, sorry, I will go back. Basically, eBay now uses machine translation to translate product ads from one foreign country language into another country language. So it basically means that for the seller, this is more efficient because you don't have to then go and, do all of your kind of language translation. And it's also easier for the customer as well in a foreign country because now they can go and find out about different products in different countries. Okay, so yeah, definitely this, use of machine translation. We've also sort of talked about chatbots previously, but, perhaps we can, provide better support to our customers in foreign locations, in different languages. Our chatbots continuously learn and leverage and, leverage customer feedback. We can have better streamlined interactions and so on. Okay, so I sort of talked about that, bridging language gaps. So we've got this better kind of seamless communication between different customers and enhancing the customer experience. Talked about that personalised algorithm. Okay, so the other thing that we, I guess we could get or get the benefit out of is this leveraging the artificial intelligence for global brand management and international marketing in a foreign country. Actually, I just wanted to point out, look at the picture that's created by AI in this slide. And my colleague Bianca was laughing because she was like, some of the AI is really good and then some of it's really bad. So the picture wasn't the best quality as per the lady's mouth in that picture. Anyway, okay, so then so basically, we've got better brand monitoring. AI-powered tools can help us with understanding consumer global sentiment, our online conversations, what are people talking about, what is a brand's performance and reputation in international markets. We can also look at better content optimization. And so I guess, we've talked to in, AI, and we talk about this in Australia at a marketing level, is, we're constantly using AI to create our marketing content. whether it be things like photos, whether it be things like videos, as another example, or even, I guess creating like a kind of content story, and then perhaps getting that translated at a later point of time. So obviously we can, use this to, better create our content, have a better understanding of what our customers are wanting, and then therefore creating content around that. So basically, just have given some examples here of AI's use in international marketing. And, we have things like generative tools like Jasper for text generation, or we can even use Copilot or ChatGPT. I'm constantly using it. And even as an academic, I'm a program coordinator for our MBA here at the University of Sunshine Coast. So we're using generative AI tools to create our text generation. But we can also use Midjourney, although Midjourney tends to be difficult. Even Copilot and ChatGPT will create images and so on for us. So they can produce text, create images, generate music or code, and so on. So, these can be used to create our content creation. Another interesting example I came across, and I already know about Synthesia, and I don't know if you know about Synthesia, but basically Synthesia is an AI video platform. You can use it for free. The free version's not that good, but you can pay for it as well. Basically, if you get the paid version, then you can actually, get a photo of yourself, get your voice, and create different videos. So here we just have an example of a global NGO, Malaria No More, using Synthesia to create a marketing campaign to increase donations to eradicate malaria, and they basically get David Beckham to speak 9 languages to launch this video. So I'll just quickly go to the video and you can see what they created. If I can get there. Oh goodness, sorry. Just 5 seconds. I'm just going to quickly go and grab that again. Okay. Now, apparently you can hear this. Please yell out if you can't.
Can't hear at the moment. Jane, there is no sound for me.
Can you hear it, Etienne?
No.
No, I can't hear it. We can see the video, but can't hear it.
Okay, can't hear it. All right. I'll go back, actually. Stop sharing. I'll just do it again. Oh, here we go. I got to press includes out. That's why. Okay. Okay.
Malaria isn't just any disease. It's the deadliest disease there's ever been.
Se dice que ha matado más de la mitad de la población que ha existido.
بليون مليون تاع مريض
وما زالت تقتل طفلا كل دقيقتين.
Mais nous pouvons y mettre fin. Nous savons comment, nous en avons la possibilité.
हमें और अधिक कार्रवाई की जरूरत है.
我们需要让世界领导人关注。
Hivyo tunazindua kampeni ya sauti.
Umwele bawari upin malaria.
Speak up and say, malaria must die. One voice can be powerful, but all of our voices together, then they will have to listen. Malaria must die, so millions can live.
Okay, so that was just a video that was created through Synthesia, again another AI platform that you could even use for yourself. So it's just an interesting example, and it looks like David Beckham's really speaking, but he's not because he has all of the different voices over him. And also another example here is, using content. Perhaps we might have a picture of one lading for our product, but we might want to, kind of be or customize this to different markets. So, here we have customized this photo to our Islamic markets, just as an example. So again, again, we're just getting greater efficiency for the different types of things that we're doing. Okay, so I guess, there's lots of challenges of AI implementation. Obviously, we need to be looking at how we better, implement AI into our organisations, and we might face technological barriers. You might be good with AI, you might not like it, you might be, I don't know, sort of trying to explore it. Obviously, there's a cost of doing it. It really, and I talk about it in the paper, but basically, we really need to be training up our employees to be AI capable, or recruiting AI capable employees already. The other thing that might be an issue would be this data availability and quality. So basically, our AI-powered solutions are heavily dependent on the availability and quality of data. Even I was showing you before the generation of business plans through Copilot Bing, and I don't think the quality is really there yet. It's probably not up to the standard that I'd want. So again, how do we train these systems? How do we get this better information into there so that we can actually get better reports coming out of it? And I also mentioned before, increasing country level regulation around AI. So countries might actually block off the sharing of their data to other countries. There might be, and I guess this leads into the third point around ethical considerations. We've got a lot of ethical concerns, such as privacy. If a company is using a lot of AI, then they might be actually, using the data that employees have had there, and have the employees actually consented to the use of their data. We can also have bias. So we're talking about recruitment and using AI for recruitment, but this depends on did you train the recruitment system, the AI system, on biased data? Did you train it all on white males who are 45 years old versus, we're not talking about, not including people from diverse cultures or genders and so on. So obviously, we need to deal with these issues of bias and transparency and so on. So just wanted to give you some overall thoughts, and I'll finish off my presentation now. Think about how can AI assist you with your day-to-day job. We need to spend time using it, training it, understanding its capabilities. How can it help, and what are its weaknesses? I still think that, we need to be augmenting our work rather than replacing ourselves. We still need humans, even though my colleague, Bianca, she's like, oh no, that was such the phrase of 2023, we still need humans. I still think that we do, because we still need to, be directing what AI does, but we also need to be editing what AI does. We need to be overseeing it. So have a little think about what your key takeaways are. And my colleague, Bianca, just wanted to also share some AI tools with you. So I can share this presentation with Sylvia and Jean-Christine as well. And basically, these are just a range of websites that you can go and look in. And so just say you're looking for a tool, it will tell you the tool, or, give you suggestions. So perhaps, you might be going, oh, I need an AI video editor, and it will suggest something like Synthesia or whatever else is available. Okay, so that brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening, and I hope that was insightful to you.
Thank you very much, Jane. Thank you so much, and very interesting. Indeed, just pick a few questions here from the chat. First one, of course, is data reliability. I mean, obviously, you ask questions about business development, market entry, market segmentation, things like this. You want to have a reliable, answers. So at least information on which you can build decision making and investment possibly. What is your analysis on this? I mean, of course, I suppose the answer of AI answers is not sufficient, and it's just one of the sources that you should be considering when assessing the potential of a market and or doing any kind of research of the kind.
Yes, and I would agree with that statement, because I would think that the AI capability, and you could see how reasonably basic, I've put into AI, develop me an export plan, tell me about consumers in Vietnam for cheese, and the answers are not that good. And obviously, as a international business professor, what I do teach is, you must go to, go and find the market report by IBIS World or, one of the companies that provide information around consumers in a particular market, in a particular industry. Or you need to go and find out about the political situation of a country. You need to go and find out about, what are the export regulations and so on. So therefore, I think it is at this point just one source of information that we have, and that we must augment it with our other types of research. But, it would be really good if we all got together, and I'm off to our international business conference in July in South Korea, and I'm presenting this paper again. So, it might be good for us all to get together, whether it be academics and practitioners, and think, well, can we actually develop a tool that's specific for exporters? Because I couldn't find one. There might be one that exists. But then again, it goes back to, companies perhaps that can invest and have the money to actually create these tools as well. So perhaps, some software technology company that can assist with that.
Okay. One question to follow up on this. Do you think, in your view, is it just a matter of time that reliability becomes better? Or do you think because of the diverse, amount of information and sometimes not the premium kind of information that the AI, is building its answers on, it will always be, it will never be a perfect answer.
Yeah, and I would think it would be a matter of time. And, if we keep on asking this question, how can we train it better? How do we feed this information? And perhaps this is actually a question for my colleague Bianca, because she's more IT than me. But yeah, maybe it is feeding that information into it and training it, sort of like that, the Nikkei system where they've trained it on, a whole range of information. So perhaps it's, to say, I would suggest to my students, go and look at, KPMG's doing business report in Vietnam, go and look at this report, go and get economic intelligence unit, go and get the country reports. Maybe it's getting all of that information and feeding it into some AI system as well.
There's a big question here, of course, difficult to answer, but by Madiar, how could AI tools help an exporter to reduce international business development costs and help increase the return on investment of exports by making better decisions? How do you formulate an answer to this?
Yeah, that's a very difficult question, and I can't. In my paper, I was so like, yeah, well, that would be nice to have like some tool that said, what is the best, we talk about entry modes, and we have decision frameworks that say, if I've got this type of a product and, the advantage in the foreign country is low cost labor, then perhaps I should use foreign direct investment as opposed to exporting. And perhaps, again, it's having some kind of tool that can help us, make that better decision, because we're still using our human brains to do that, aren't we? At this point in time, we're saying, well, what is, so I don't have the answer for that question yet. I'm so sorry. But again, we can continue to dream and imagine that, you know, at a later point in time, that, you know, those things might get developed.
Here in the chat, Olivier Leroy is mentioning that Gemini does list its sources, which makes it easier to, you know, use the information that it provides. I think in practical terms, my understanding that ChatGPT, if you ask it to quote its source in the prompt, you have a chance also to get the, you know, to the source of the information also there. I think this is, of course, a critical point. Of course, I suppose you agree with the fact that the answer is something, but the sources that are underlying the answer are also critical for verification. I suppose that's one of the keys.
And that might be a good thing. Yeah, also asking for the reference or the source, and I think the other good thing about, or, you know, important thing to mention is that it's always about the prompting. You know, that if we've, you know, I'm a cheese exporter, please develop me a market plan for this country, and so on. So,
sure. Yeah, prompting, that leads me to another question about training, because of course nobody everybody has to learn how to prompt. The question is by Jean-Christophe: what do you think is the best way to train the staff and to train ourselves to these new AI tools? Suggested through AI or through online courses. How do you see an organization or just people training themselves with AI or with prompting?
Yeah, definitely. Look, you know, I think that is, so one of my former MBA students, he worked in a large Australian retailer, and he was very big on, even though he wasn't an IT person, he was very big on training their employees. And I think this company has, I don't know, 20,000 employees or something. He was like, everyone should be doing Amazon Web Services or be doing, you know, even it's not related to their job at all, but you should be training your employees on these different tools for artificial intelligence. So then, you know, even if you're not using it, then at least at a later point in time, it's developing that capability, that understanding. How can this tool maybe help me with my role? So I definitely think, and I talk about that in the paper as well. So, you know, how we might train, and, you know, again, the view of the managers about, you know, what employees should be doing. But also, you know, specifying it in the selection criteria too. So
we have Ajar, who is suggesting that perplexity.ai is a more reliable and AI that provides sources and references. Ajar, do you want to speak about and to present Perplexity, or?
Yeah, so I do know, like, we use Perplexity in academic research as well. So yes, so it does. It is meant to be good for sources as well. There's also another one, Claude. So you can also have a look at that one.
Okay. Questions from the floor? Or anybody wants to step into? Anybody with a question? Okay, Steph, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. What may be the financial cost of using these tools or AI tools? Jane, please.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. You know, I think that, yeah, it depends on, you know, what you're wanting, and you know, obviously there's paid versions of things, there's not paid versions of things. You're obviously getting, yeah, I don't have a cost, you know, of you know, but obviously it's you know, something we should be investing in, but obviously is a choice that we need to make. Sorry, that wasn't the best answer.
Well, you know, the first tools like ChatGPT, the price is is it like 10 to 15 euros per month or something like this?
Yeah, and we can use free versions of things.
There's
I mean,
also the free version, absolutely.
yeah, I actually don't pay for anything, or not
You don't?
yet.
Okay.
But, you know, it depends, you know, like if you're, yeah, well, I really need to create a lot of videos, then, you know, I will be paying to use Synthesia, because the Synthesia is very basic if you don't use a paid version. Actually, one interesting one, Otter AI. So in academic research, we do a lot of interviews and transcriptions. So again, that used to cost you thousands of dollars in transcriptions. Now you can pay $10 or $15 a month to have Otter AI, and that will transcribe your interviews. It will transcribe your meetings. It will create meeting minutes and things like that for you. So yeah, that's a really interesting one as well.
Somebody is mentioning the idea of a AI comparator, right? We had price comparators, and we had many comparators in the internet. Has anybody thought of or already developed an AI comparator that takes the answers from different AIs and tries to compare them?
Yeah, that would be a good idea, wouldn't it? And that's probably a question for Bianca, because why do we have so many? But
okay, I'm browsing the new messages. Yeah, a question about consultants. I think that's a good one. Do you think international business consultants could be out of work because of AI? Do you see it this way?
No, I still don't see it, because I still think as I said, we still need humans to do things for us. And, you know, currently, you know, is the AI going to give you the best export plan? Well, not right at the moment. Is it going to give you all the cultural nuance? Is it going to give you the experience that perhaps this international business consultant had? So, or the contacts, it doesn't have the contacts, you know, that perhaps, you know, is integral part of international business, networking, and so on. So,
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hello, may I have a question?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you, Jane, and thank you, Etienne, for the presentation and organizing of it. I'm questioning myself regarding the risk of having AI providing inaccurate information and data, or the one that would be no more valid. Like we know that translation is actually going quite well with this type of tools. But if I question AI about regulation, for example, in another country, and this regulation could have changed, could I have a AI providing the old regulation, and so that it would have heavy consequences in the decision-making process of companies? Have you experienced some companies having maybe taken wrong decisions because of it? And it might be linked to a cost if we use maybe free AI versus the not free one.
Yeah, that's a really good question, Agnieszka. Thank you. I would think that you always need to do your other research. You know, it's not, you know, this is one aspect or one tool. So if it's telling you this is a regulation, then I would go and find that regulation if you can and just cross-check it, because otherwise, yeah, you don't know. And the same with academia. You know, I mean, I don't use it too much for academic references, because I just know that, you know, actually reading the article and going to the source is the better thing to do. So I would always be questioning it. But I think it's, you know, a bit of your investigation, you know, so it's just one piece of the puzzle in, you know, developing our export plans.
Yeah, okay. So rather
I use it.
First filter.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I often use AI as a starting point for when you're searching something, the same way you used to Google, you know, a keyword or a series of keywords before. you can just, check it on via AI, and then that's the starting point for further, exploration. It has the value of, like what you find on the internet. On the internet, it has the value of what you find on Wikipedia. What you read in Wikipedia is mainly true and it's partly wrong. So you have to discriminate. And but anyway, it's a very good starting point to read an article about a given topic in Wikipedia. It doesn't give you the whole, 100% of the truth, but it gives you a fraction of it, and it's immediately available.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It gives you time to going into further investigations. Somebody's asking, if we should care about the information that we give when we submit material, when we submit, documents to the AI. We should care about the data that we transfer to these companies or organizations by doing so.
Yeah, I guess that's another risk, isn't it? We want to try and protect our intellectual property, whatever that may be, whether it's product designs or, other aspects of our IP. So, how do we, I don't know how you might be sharing that information, but yeah, that would definitely be an issue that you might want to be careful about.
Yeah. So it depends on what you enter in. But if you enter a contract, then you want to, or a sophisticated document, and you want to be proofread, you go for proofreading or for translating.
Yeah.
Material typically gets stored somewhere, and you have to be aware that it is stored somewhere.
Yeah. So I would think that you would try to limit, anything that was really against, that was trying to reveal your IP then, because if it's going to get stored somewhere, then it's now out there.
Nicola is saying that all data sent to ChatGPT can be served or reused as an answer or part of an answer to another user asking for, a similar question. It's probably true. I'm not sure how verify it is, but it's more than likely that they use, like any machine learning system, you use all the, everything that is submitted in order to feed the AI. So yes, you should be cautious with what you post, especially when you post sophisticated documents.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a ChatGPT model. There's a private model, which I suppose is where you store your information into a private infrastructure. I suppose this has to, a stronger cost, but it is a track, of course, that you can explore in order to keep your data safe. But still, you have to be cautious about this, because those companies, they make money with their assets is your data mainly. Okay. Any other questions, Sarah?
Yeah, can I ask a question, please? Yeah. Hello. Thank you so much for the presentation. It was really interesting. I'm myself an international business consultant for many years and a PhD student, and I actually study how AI affects export of SMEs at this point. So you mentioned that some of your students look into the AI effect on cross-cultural relationships. Can you please a bit elaborate about it? So which aspect of this cross-cultural relationship? It's a trust building, it's a communication, or so just
we're literally just starting this project. So, so it will be like just looking at, how it can be used for better relationships between people from different cultures, how we can kind of, translate language better, and, what are the practical tools that might be available. So that's just we're just literally starting off. So perhaps in about, is it Nadia? Nadia, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perhaps in about 2 months, you can contact me and I can give you a better answer to that one. So, yeah, so the students are just starting. And yeah, I'd love to learn about your research as well. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, you know, I really have an intent to stay in touch for a number of reasons. So.
Yeah. Okay.
There was a question from Sarah. Sarah?
Yes. Hello, Jane. Thank you very much for your presentation. It was very clear and inspiring.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea of what should be considered first to design an AI tool for exporters? Because what is the lowest common denominator? Because we are talking about different kinds of exporters coming from many kinds of countries, and it's very difficult to. Do you have already something in mind about the process, the design process of an AI tool?
Yeah, look, I've been thinking about it because, you know, last year I held a seminar at the university here, face-to-face seminar, where I got some AI people to come and talk about, you know, what do they do on a, you know, day-to-day practical level. And one guy there, you know, he was basically like, yeah, you know, we developed AI tools for whatever you want to do. And you know, when I was writing this paper, what I was trying to find in the academic literature was, is there anything where, yeah, you know, we've got like an export plan or a, you know, these entry mode choice. And so I think it would really be sitting down with, you know, a bunch of software developers and, you know, highlighting what our you know, needs are, you know, as international business people, and then thinking, you know, how can we, you know, because obviously these are all just like decisions, right, which can be fed into a computer to make a decision about something. So I would think that something could be developed. I mean, even in the paper, we talk about how, so I've got some feedback going on there where there's, so basically, yeah, you know, in international trade negotiations at a governmental level, you know, we can make predictions about what people are going to make a decision on. So therefore, you know, we should be able to also do that. So I don't know, you know, this association that you're a part of, you know, whether, you know, that's something that you might want to do for your whole, you know, like your membership would be, you know, is there any funding? Is there any kind of crowdsourcing that, you know, we could sit down and work out a tool or create a tool? Because, you know, I think that's where it's going to emanate from. It's actually going to emanate from, you know, an export association or, you know, international business scholars, you know, working together to actually create us, you know, a bespoke software tool that's going to serve our needs specifically. And currently, unless, you know, I wasn't able to find something, but if you can find something, yeah, it might already exist, but I don't think it does. So,
okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Any other question? Anybody wants to step in? Is GPT today the best way to control some of the training and information use? I don't really understand your question, Olivier. Do you want to clarify? Olivier, you're in the...
Can you hear me? Hey, everybody.
Yes. Hi, Olivier.
I believe someone actually answered the best way to do that is to do it as a private model. What GPTs are, and then GPTs are today are only available in the not in the free version, but in the paying version of ChatGPT. Is GPTs are basically programs that you can. It's basically a prompt that you can put into GPTs, and you can actually add some of your own information to add on to the knowledge of the GPTs, and little by little, by working on that particular prompt within the GPT's environment, you can actually train and improve the response of ChatGPT. So I would encourage everybody to actually look into GPTs as the next way of actually using ChatGPTs and OpenAI tools. It's fair. This actually they came up with GPTs, I believe 6 months ago, if I'm correct. So anybody know about GPTs on this in this forum? No? Everybody should go on ChatGPTs and ask what are GPTs. How can they? It's the next best answer in this case.
Yes, there is this. I'm looking for the acronym here. But there's this acronym of this series of AIs that rely on an LLM but have a layer of private data. Is it RAG or RAC or something like that?
So,
is that what you're?
There's two things. There's two things. You can actually do ChatGPT on a private model. And by private model, what it means is you can actually have the functionality of ChatGPT that only using the information that you feed in, thus completely controlling the information. So this is interesting when you have your own company, you have a bunch of data, and you don't want to share the data with OpenAI and Microsoft in this case. You can actually develop your own. You can actually access your information and analyze your information very quickly with your internal data. GPTs are a little bit different. GPTs is the way that I understand it, and that's why I'm trying to get more information about it, is when you create a GPT, it's like creating an assistant, which means that not only you provide a prompt to him, but you also have the ability to upload some PDF and information about a particular subject. And then by refining the information, you actually, with the history and the information that you feed him, you are refining the way that the GPTs actually provide you with specific information.
I found the acronym. It's RAG, R-A-G. You're familiar with this one, Olivier?
No.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, it's those kind of solutions where you have private data, a layer of private resources, private data, and you're using the intelligence of the AI, but you're not using the knowledge of the data of the AI. You're just using its capability of analyzing, creating vectors based on content, and but based on your content, not on their content.
Yeah.
So I think
and sometimes it can actually be quicker.
It requires more investment, but it's a very interesting track. Sorry, Olivier.
Yes, and you keep the information private, obviously.
Yeah, sure.
Hello. If you want, I can explain RAG, if you are interested.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sure.
So RAG. So I'm Nicholas. Hello, everybody. So RAG is retrieval augmented generation. It means when you ask something to the model, you will also provide a source of data, and the model will look into this source of data to extend his understanding of the context of your request. The limitation of AI is and the prompt is the context, the size of the context you provide. So in ChatGPT, when you chat with it, you only have a few sentences that you can explain to the AI so that it can give you back an answer. With RAG, you can give much more than that. You can give a full documentation database, contracts or whatever, or history of exchange rates or whatever. So it will refine the answer the model will provide you with.
Are GPTs RAGs?
I'm not sure about that. RAG is more a layer on top of your model that you decide to do or not. It's like the LLMs, the large. Sorry, my son is behind. The large language model are something that interprets what you tell him and will interpret what he in your own language, what he has found as an answer. So it's another layer on top of the model.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Is there any further question? I think we all want to thank you very much, Jane, not just for the very good presentation, but also for the efforts of doing this during the night.
That's okay.
And, honestly, it's a big applause for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
We Europeans appreciate very much that you are on our same time frame as we are, but I understand it's a big effort on your side. So thank you very much. We look forward to hearing from you. If there's any updates in your research, we will welcome you another time if you agree again to make this effort of the timeline. But nevertheless, yes, keep us posted with what you produce. We will also do the same. And if you want to use us as a test group for whatever research or panel or questionnaire you want, it's all here. It's all international trader, professionals, and we're all willing to learn and to share the knowledge. So you're more than welcome to use us also in this way.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, that would be really good. Yeah, thank you so much, and pleasure to be here. Thank you.